Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here. Welcome into a different type of top 10 video that we've had on the channel. With the release of the Joker today, I wanted to do this special top 10 list actually breaking down my top 10 favorite interpretations and performances of the Joker. We are going to talk about the Joker movie and Joaquin Phoenix's performance, but there will be time codes to skip ahead if you don't want to hear any of my thoughts about that. I'm going to try to keep them non-spoilery. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's kick things off. In 10th spot, it's a Joker that I feel like we can't really judge, and it is Jared Leto's Joker. And I feel really bad for him because there's a lot of different articles and such and statements from him and the director David Ayer actually talking about how they had all these restrictions put in place for the movie Suicide Squad, which I was actually on the set for, technically speaking. I know you're tired of me talking about that, but anyways, I think that he was really only in it for 10 minutes maybe, and I think that it's a real shame. They say that he has enough footage actually filmed to have a full movie based upon him, so I really wish that we did see more of him, and to see his interactions with Batman, of course, I think would be really good, and just more interactions with Harley. I think that I personally really like their love story in that, and the reason he's actually 10th here, not above a couple other people, which I think that he definitely probably deserves to be, simply because I don't think we can judge him. I really think that we have not had enough screen time to actually be able to give him a fair assessment, but he is definitely better than like some of the one-offs that people did for animated movies and such. But anyways, moving on to spot number 9, we actually have Cesar Romero, and I've seen the 1966 Batman movie, seen a couple other episodes, and I really do not like his performance of it. I'm sorry 1960s fans of the show, but I really just, yikes. I don't know, it's really laughable, which I guess is what the show was going for, but I really hate his mustache as well, just that it's painted over. That's why he's 9th spot. Like, just shave off your mustache already, my goodness. But in spot number 8, we have Troy Baker, and he's actually above the other two because it is kind of just an impression of Mark Hamill, but in the Batman Arkham Origins game as well as the Arkham movie, and he's done like TV show work as well. I think he just does a really fantastic job. Of course, again, it's kind of just an impression of Mark Hamill's Joker, but I think it's really good, and especially with at least Batman Arkham Origins, I think it's really cool to get this younger version of the Joker, which I think he does really well, and just his interactions with the Assault on Arkham movie especially, I really love that movie. It's a really great movie. Can't recommend it to kids, I would say, because it's a little on the dark side, but it's definitely the best Suicide Squad movie that we've ever gotten. But moving on to spot number 7, and you've probably never heard of this person, but it's actually Christopher Corey Smith, and this is actually the person who did the voices in Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes, and then he did it in Beyond Gotham and Dimensions, Lego DC Supervillains. That was actually Mark Hamill. But he does a really great job, I think, and I really didn't like his version of it when it first started, but as the games continued to go along and he was popping up, I think, in some animated movies as well for the Joker, I love his performance, and it was strange to see in DC Supervillains it actually not being him. I kind of missed it. I liked how he kind of stood out, but I think he does a really good job for an animation or a video game or anything. But in spot number 6 is Cameron Monaghan from Gotham, and again, can't recommend this version to kids, but his performance, of course, is really astounding. I love his laugh, his progression, and his relationship with Bruce in all 3 versions of the Joker, or Jay, or whatever they wind up calling him in the final episode, I think is really good, and his performance is just astounding. Like, it's just, he puts so much into that character, and I love his performance so much. He just does the Joker really well, whether it is or isn't the Joker, or it's Jerome or Jeremiah. I just thought that both of the characters were really good. In spot number 5, I'm ready for the hate. Bring it on. But it's Heath Ledger's Joker. And again, I was actually watching all these movies, like literally going into Joker, and I thought his laugh is really good, and the way he interacts with like Harvey and Rachel and the Commissioner and Batman, of course, it's really good. It is really good. It's not one of my favorite movies. That trilogy, I think, is just really overhyped, and I have so many problems with that trilogy. I would love to do a separate video on it. But again, I think that it's really good. It's just, it's not one of my favorite versions of him. It's just not as, I don't know, in my mind, it's not something that I think of when I think of the Joker. I love the purple vest and everything, and the green hair. A little bit better, I guess, than Joaquin Phoenix is in terms of the outfit, but again, I don't know. Doesn't do it for me, but again, bring on the hate. I'm ready for it. I'm not gonna read them. Just kidding. I read all the comments. Definitely all the comments. But in spot number 4, we have Zach Galifianakis's interpretation from the Lego Batman movie. And I love the Lego Batman movie. I think that it's probably my favorite Batman movie of all time, because I think that it's just so funny to see them making fun of Batman and his lore. They get the relationships right. At least with like him and Alfred, I think is really, really good. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about the Joker. I think that it was really funny to see this Joker just wanting attention, which I think is a good aspect of like the Joker. He does want attention. He's an attention seeker, but to always want affirmation from Batman, I think was a really cool and unique take on the character. I loved seeing this not romantic relationship, but this relationship where he really does depend on Batman to that extent almost. And I thought that that was really, really good. And to see this progression of the character through the movie, I thought was really good. And he did a really, really great job. And I liked him bouncing off of Will Arnett's Batman. I thought that was really fantastic, and which is why it's so high up on the list, because that version, you know, he is the Joker. He's supposed to make you smile and laugh, which is something that I think he really does in my eyes, which is why he's high up on the list. But moving on to spot number 3, we're going to talk about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Might surprise you that he is third on the list, and who's first and second. I mean, first, you've heard me talk about him a lot already in this video, so you're not surprised. But anyways, we're going to talk about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And so if you don't want to hear anything, skip ahead. I'll put the time codes down below. But here we go. No spoilers, but his performance is astounding. Like, it is fantastic, especially as Arthur Fleck, I would say specifically. But as he progresses into the Joker, it's not a spoiler or anything. He does become the Joker. It's really, really good. And some of the connections that they have to what makes the character who he is really, really great, and some of the ways that they do that is so smart. As a character, he was really relatable. The way that they tell the story, I think, was really good, and you really feel for Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur Fleck and the Joker. But I can't really say too much about that. But back to the list. In spot number 2, we have Jack Nicholson's Joker, and oh my goodness, I had... just thinking about everything in that movie just really, really brings a smile to my face. And, you know, it was just, I loved watching it. Every single time that he was on screen, he just stole every single scene. And I thought that it was just, it really made me laugh. Not because it was comedic, but just, I don't know, his performances always made me smile. Every single scene that he was on screen, dancing to the Prince music. And I really like that dynamic between Batman and the Joker, which again is something that Joaquin Phoenix doesn't really have a chance to do, of course, given that it is set during a time period when Bruce Wayne is just a kid. So I really enjoyed seeing this relationship of the two of them, and seeing that he was responsible for the Wayne's murder. I thought that was an interesting take on it, and I really quite enjoyed Jack Nicholson's performance. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was really lively and just so wacky, but in a really good, at times scary way, I think. And moving on to spot number 1, it is the person who's played him the most in any form of media, both live action and I think very soon to be more live action, but it is of course Mark Hamill. I've already talked about him so much in this video, but his performance, there's nothing that can touch it. Absolutely nothing. It is iconic. When I think of the Joker and I close my eyes and I hear the laugh and I hear his voice, it's Mark Hamill that I picture. It's not Heath Ledger, it's not Joaquin Phoenix or anyone else. It's Mark Hamill and his laugh and just the beautiful stories that they tell in the Arkham games. There's nothing quite like it. Like, I don't think that any other Batman story holds a torch to the Arkham games in terms of the story that's being told and the relationship that is built there between the Joker and Batman. Like, again, one of the parts that makes the Joker interesting to me is seeing him interact with Batman, and that is something that the games do so well. Wow, just incredible. I think of the Batman the Animated Series, and I absolutely think how crazy it is that it all started from there. That show gave us the introduction of Mark Hamill as the Joker, but as well as a character that is such a pop culture icon now. The infamous Harley Quinn. And wow, I love their relationship in that show. You know, the love-hate relationship. I know maybe 5 of the episode titles of Batman the Animated Series, and Mad Love is one that I remember. And it is just such a great telling and depiction of their love-hate relationship. It is just really great. And I could talk about Mark Hamill all day. His performance, his laugh, you know, I've done his impression too many times that now my own laugh sounds like his at times. But again, Mark Hamill, #1 by far. And I really encourage you to go out and watch Batman the Animated Series and some of the other films that he's actually played the Joker. And he might even be in the crossover for the Arrowverse this year. So that's crazy. I can't wait to see him and Kevin Conroy live action. I just, wow, can't wait for that. But anyways, everyone, what do you think of this? The Joker is my favorite comic book villain of all time. I almost said hero. But he's just amazing, and he's such an iconic character, and it's crazy that we have all these different interpretations of it, and I was quite impressed by Joaquin Phoenix's performance. But anyways, everyone, I hope that you did enjoy this different top 10 list video, and I hope that you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.